从义净法师的法师是从这边的，公元671年。
Dato Goh Hin San, the chairman of the Malaysia Han Culture Centre, wishes to gain a full understanding of historical events that took place about 1,300 years ago. He's followed a clue that's led him to Guangxiao Temple.
看到了，就是我们要找的了，是观孝禅师。
Meanwhile, at a dock on the River Seine in Paris, the boat La Dame de Canton is quietly awaiting the arrival of several special guests.
La voilà, la voilà, la voilà. Super, génial. T'as vu? Et la voilà le jour. Regarde. Ah, ils ont mis une dame. La dame de Canton. Plus tellement la ligne du navire parce qu'on a mis des superstructures pour accueillir le public. Regarde. Bah voilà, putain, mais ça fait quand même. Aïe aïe aïe. Oh, j'en ai marre de la Good, hein?
On January the 6th, 2007, Jai Moore sold all his property so he could devote himself fully to his goal of sailing solo around the world. 2 years after departing from Yizhou and having covered 28,300 nautical miles, he became the first Chinese sailor to successfully complete an around-the-world solo voyage in an unpowered sailboat. Now, in a new adventure on the sea, he will be following in the tracks of history as he follows the route of the Maritime Silk Road. The earliest written record concerning the Maritime Silk Road is found in an ancient text of the Han Dynasty. It reads as follows. In the year 111 BC, after quelling an uprising in the state of Nanyue, Emperor Wu dispatched a fleet carrying gold and silk at the south end of Leizhou Peninsula. The fleet sailed along the Beibu Gulf and the coast of Vietnam to the south, bypassing the Strait of Malacca before arriving at a land that is now the present-day countries of India and Sri Lanka, communicating with countries along the way by trading commodities. In his quest to pay tribute to the preceding Chinese sailors, Jai Moore sets off on yet another voyage. He will cross Southeast Asia through the Strait of Malacca and then traverse the Indian Ocean, the Mediterranean and the Red Sea before making his way along the Suez Canal to arrive in Italy in time for Expo Milan.
同学们，你们必须要把你们的视野
Over the past 30 years, Dato Goh Hin San has dedicated himself to cultural communication between China and Malaysia, effectively expanding the use and acceptance of Chinese in local mainstream society. In early 2015, former Minister for Information, Communication and Culture, Asiacivilations, entrusted him with a special mission.
So I want to know, Danshu, why you so interest to appoint me to study the I Ching study?
I Ching is the first Chinese scholar to have come here in this part of the world. I must say here that one of the main reasons also for I Ching to do this knowledgeable rewriting and refinding is for China trade. Therefore, I Ching should be given the recognition as the first man before Cheng He
700 years.
to have come here
Yeah, 700
and
years
did his study.
In the year 671, Master Yi Jing, who greatly admired Xuanzang for the journey he took to the west in search for Buddhist scriptures, boarded a Persian merchant ship in Guangzhou to set out on his own journey. The ship followed the Maritime Silk Road. After a journey of more than 3,000 miles, the ship finally arrived at Nalanda in India. As commissioned by the government of Malaysia, Dato Goh Hin San will visit ancient sites in China to verify the accuracy of accounts written by Tang Dynasty voyager Master Yi Jing. If Master Yi Jing's detailed records can be verified, then the documented history of Malaysia can be extended by about 700 years.
阿弥陀佛，妙玉法师。那么这边有一个记录呢，这个是马来文来的。你看呢，他呢，这个是易经法师从广州的官校寺，就是广州那边，经过了斯里文家王朝的那个本莲邦，就是现在印尼的巨港，然后从那边以后呢，他又转到了现在马来半岛的基达州。像这一个他所走的，就是现在我们所说的海上丝绸之路，他呢所记录的那些风土人情、地理环境，还有那个天文地那个知识，非常的广泛在书里面。那么这一个记录呢，就完全可以成为我们作为一个考证把我们的那个历史呢重写。所以如果没有易经法师呢，可能就没有马来西亚历史的记录了。
那易经法师他所写的这2本书当中，也曾经提过我们的寺庙。
对，
那证明呢，就是我们寺庙和易经法师曾经有这么一段缘分。易经法师他也是受到玄奘法师西行求法成功这么一个激励和影响。
说4大佛教的翻译家嘛，易经是其中一个
是其中一个。
所以易经在历史的地位呢，应该是不被忽视了。
Dato Goh Hin San persisted in delving into this part of history, and as he did so, he raised a question. From which dock did Master Yi Jing board the ship bound for the southeast? To find out, he made his way to the Temple of the South Sea God.
根据这个史料的记载，易经是从公元671年从广州出发。如果你刚才说的地盘志呢，是594年就建好这个南海神庙的码头，就是古码头了。
对，庙。
那么意思说呢，我现在的这个小小的结论，易经就在建这个码头后的77年就从这边出发。
这个广州这个城啊，是2000多年前就建了。这是一个古地图。西来古岸就是当年的内港，南海神庙在这边是当年的外港。广州当年啊，就是一个水城，就是这个地理的变迁呐、沧海桑田啊，它这个随着这个时间的推移啊，就是这个海岸线越来越往南走了。当年这个易经从广州出洋，那个港口应该在广州的外港。《四库全书》有这么一段话：南海在县南，水路100里，自周东就是东，周东80里，有春号叶古斗。这句话啊，自此出海，浩渺无际。那么当时呢，广州城啊，已经是非常繁荣了。在唐代啊。
唐代，
就是海上贸易都已经开始了。
已经开始了。这个而且形成了这一个知名的广州通海驿道。
During the Tang Dynasty, Guangzhou, Zhuangzhou, Mingzhou, and Yangzhou were the 4 famous harbours from which the commercial vessels departed. From there, the ships followed maritime routes that connected Koryo, Silla, and Japan in the north, and crossed the South China Sea and the Strait of Malacca in the south. The vessels then entered the Indian Ocean and the Persian Gulf, reaching as far as the Gulf of Oman, the Gulf of Aden, and the coast of East Africa. Today, more than 1,300 years later, Jai Moor is taking the exact same maritime route and facing many of the same challenges. Unlike the ships of the Tang Dynasty, Jai Moor's sailboat is equipped with a GPS navigation system. Yet, during the adventure, physically and psychologically, his experience and that of the sailors of 1,300 years ago will be essentially the same.
的那种力度，赶紧调整绳索，然后不断的让它神经绷起来，这样的话才便于去找到最佳的角度去航行。现在的船只啊，船舶基本上是按国际标准的话，都有配置这种就是 ARS 的这种识别系统，除非是海盗。海盗船的话不装任何的这样的装备，一旦发现这个船上没有任何信息，那就是说你要留意这个船，一个是从哪地方来的，走向，对你的船只有多远，所以你提前做一些规避。
Along the route, only a few boats pass by, and in the presence of nature, man looks insignificant. With no telephone signal and no internet, cleaning becomes a welcome diversion. The cabin is hot and stuffy. Compared with that, the palm-sized patch of shade under the mast feels like a little piece of heaven. Sometimes the long and boring voyage has unexpected surprises too. For example, these dolphins swimming alongside the boat. On such a small sailboat, a simple hot meal is a luxury. Day after day, the main food is instant noodles. With limited fresh water on board, they can't take showers or even brush their teeth. The dark rain-bearing clouds in the distance can even provoke the impulse to swim towards them. Russian crew member Misha sometimes risks the danger of being attacked by sharks. While the boat is anchored, he jumps into the sea to take a bath. During their visit to the mausoleum of the Nan Yue King, Mr. and Mrs. Gold come to better understand the history of maritime trade. The boat motifs on an unearthed bronze lifting barrel show that 2,000 years ago, the people of the Kingdom of Nan Yue were capable of sailing on the ocean. Foreign products excavated from archaeological sites such as a silver case from Persia, frankincense and glass bead accessories provide proof that in the Western Han Dynasty more than 2,000 years ago, Guangzhou was already engaged in commercial activities with Persia and the east coast of Africa through maritime trade routes. This took place 1,000 years earlier than Master Yi Jing's voyage. In the vast lands of southeast China and the southern coastal areas, the history of ancient Chinese people making rafts and canoes can be traced back as far as 7,000 years ago, during the He Mu Du culture period. By the time of the Tang Dynasty and Song Dynasty, shipbuilding techniques had reached a peak. It's said that the famous design that separated ship cabins was in fact first achieved by craftsmen of the Tang Dynasty. When the wreck of an ocean-going commercial ship dating from the Song Dynasty was excavated in the Bay of Quanzhou in 1974, it was found to feature an advanced cabin separation structure. This meant that if one cabin was damaged and filled with water, the rest of the ship would not be affected. Right up to the present day, the Huang shipmaking family in Quanzhou still follows these old shipbuilding techniques. This ancient shipmaking heritage of China has been drawing attention in various parts of the globe. Niels and Vincent often come to the banks of the Seine to visit an old friend, an ancient Chinese boat called La Dame de Canton.
Great. Eh ben voilà. Là, elle n'a pas changé, la dame. Pont avant. Et celui-là, il supportait une voile d'1,5 tonne. 20 mètres de haut. Hop. Comme ça.
À Paris, Jonction continue sans relâche la course aux sponsors, tandis qu'une partie de l'équipe s'installe dans le village de Beiredong.
In the early 1980s, Vincent and his friends commissioned the building of an antique-style Chinese sailing ship from the Guangzhou shipmaking factory. They were planning to sail it back to Paris from Guangzhou, following the old Maritime Silk Road.
La vie à la chinoise sur le chantier.
Vincent and his friends came to the factory and supervised its production. While there, they made the acquaintance of the project representative Wang Zhongfu, translator Mr. Wen, and a number of other Chinese friends. Vincent and his friends basically lived in the factory, working with their Chinese friends day and night. In so doing, they built up a close friendship. On the 30th of May 1981, after the formal debut of La Dame de Canton, the young French sailors set out on their homeward voyage, following the ancient methods. For Niels, that trip 35 years ago became an unforgettable experience.
Pour Niels, le skipper, et Wang, l'architecte,
中国广州造船
中国
船厂，donc ça c'est la Chine. Guangzhou c'est Canton, et après c'est chantier naval. Ça.
Chantier naval de Canton.
Chantier naval
Chine.
de Canton. Voilà.
Voilà.
D'accord.
Voilà. Et ça s'appelle un compas de route.
Un compas de route.
C'est ce qui te donne le cap. Pour aller de Chine jusqu'en France, par exemple. À pied.
À pied.
À pied.
It was this ancient Chinese compass that directed the way for Niels and his fellow crew members in their voyage from China to France. 2 years before, modern navigation technology had been initiated with the founding of the International Maritime Satellite Organization. However, these brave French seafarers chose to forego the advantages the new system had to offer. Instead, they decided to use ancient navigation techniques as they traveled along the old Maritime Silk Road.
tiré sur les palans.
Allez.
Voilà.
Voilà.
Ouf, c'est costaud.
Donc ça se manœuvrait avec les palans. Il y en avait deux de chaque côté, alors que normalement, un bateau, c'est qu'une barre à roues. Et là, c'est une barre franche qui fait 4,50 m.
Nos imaginations vibrent.
Nothing was going to stop these French young people from experiencing life on the sea the way it was for sailors in ancient times. On board was a full-time doctor. If anyone was in need of medical assistance, Dr. Christopher was constantly nearby.
C'est la possibilité de vivre une aventure et de vivre en groupe. C'est aussi très intéressant pour un médecin de vivre en groupe parce que normalement, il prend toujours un recul par rapport.
Vincent! Docteur Toto! T'es en retard. Ma biche, si tu parles de Christopher alors. Vincent! Christopher, voici Christophe qui était le médecin.
Monsieur le docteur.
J'ai été. Oui, vous avez un poil dans la main, je le sens.
Bah, tu payes régulièrement.
Sauf quand t'es malade.
Et quand t'es malade, t'es le médecin qui paye.
Non, aux États-Unis, ils ont fait un système pas con.
Au risque de perdre, de s'y perdre dans le dédale des imprévus, du connu et de l'inconnu. Nous sommes venus d'horizons divers, fascinés par un rêve d'adolescent qui s'appelle aventure.
These romantic young men even brought a piano into the cabin.
Tu me retires toute ma source d'inspiration. Regarde, j'ai ça, culotte, bleu.
Et d'ailleurs, ça serait assez extraordinaire si on pouvait retrouver ces
personnes, ceux qui ont travaillé avec nous sur le chantier, mais également que photos. Moi, j'ai un souvenir assez ému de ces périodes-là, parce qu'il n'y avait rien de plus improbable pour ces trois amis dans leur vie de se retrouver un jour hors de Chine, en plus avec nous sur un bateau avec une bande de jeunes, avec les préoccupations qu'on avait à l'époque.
Même de la dimension de la planète sur laquelle on est, contrairement
donc
évidemment...
C'était les rencontres en fait.
Donc tout était basé là-dessus, et cette rencontre avec les Chinois au départ, c'était une des plus belles, je crois, de toute cette...
Et ça m'intéresserait énormément de rediscuter avec ces gens-là, s'ils sont toujours en vie, pour voir qu'est-ce qu'ils ont retenu de ces moments-là.
Oui, mais ça, c'est...
Rendez-vous à Guangzhou, alors.
Over 1,300 years ago, after an adventurous voyage, the merchant ship with Master Yijing on board arrived in Palembang in December of the year 671. As the birthplace of the kingdom of Sri Vijaya, Palembang was one of the most important trade ports in the history of Southeast Asia. Master Yijing stayed here for half a year, during which time he studied Sanskrit and Pali. He also took the time to record everything he could about the local geography and customs. Following in Yijing's footsteps, Dato Go Hinsan arrives in Palembang.
Ijing itu salah satu biksu yang dari Guangzhou ke Palembang kan. Mungkin bangunan yang kita temukan tahun 2013 bulan November itu salah satu bukti. Jadi kalau ini stupanya ada yang di puncak, nah bangunan ini salah satu dari ininya. Itu kami menemukan adanya sisa-sisa stupa.
Mr. and Mrs. Go found out that these records match up perfectly with the archaeological finds at Palembang's mountain, further proving that during the era of the kingdom of Sri Vijaya, Palembang was the center of Buddhism. The written records provided by Master Yijing brought forward the earliest written record of Indonesia by 11 years.
Jadi memang Yijing itu mencatat seluruh perjalanannya dari China itu sampai ke Sumatera dan ke wilayah Sumatera Selatan ini, kemudian melanjutkan ke Nalanda itu.
Maka dia orang pertama yang mencatat dalam tulisan tentang sejarah Indonesia.
Tentang sejarah Indonesia pada masa Sriwijaya.
Pada masa Sriwijaya.
Palembang is situated in the east of the Strait of Malacca. Aside from pirates, there's the constantly changing weather conditions. As captain, Jai Moore needs to not only have a solid knowledge of astronomy and geography, he must also be able to respond appropriately to any unexpected situation.
全部压在一起了，然后狂风暴雨，我们抓紧时间离开这个。老杨，拿一个水桶缸，一旦有出现问题的时候，搁那个阀子，那阀子直接打开了，啊。注意点啊！它那个主板的绳子，头板的绳子带上，然后来回打。老杨，主板这个绳子上面贴了。头板。对。有两条小路车。往里倒那么远，它会有两条小渔场。不是，它像那个，它过来，不是冲着我们先过来了。你降下来，快点！万一看见。肚子是啥？有点撑。看一下这个小船片，因为这个船还挺像。它那两个小船还有多远？现在在它5点方向。你来讲。因为这个地方是早期的时候都是他妈的海盗出没的。因为你知道就是苏门答腊这个，包括什么你进入马六甲海峡的海口，这都是出没的地方。要不否则它离本岛那么远，它为什么能开一条小船过来？如果是假如他要开一条小船的话，他不可能用马达或者速度那么快，它是一个普通的渔船的话，也不会那么快。所以说你们把周围的所有的情况要分析一下，这个旁边有没有大船？一般正常的话就是小船旁边一定要有大船，要不否则呢不会是挨到陆地将近70海里。因为像这种小船的话，雷达是没有任何显示，这也冲着我们过来。就是有句话说的非常对的，可怕的不是自然，是人。
Datago was on a small canoe following the route of Master I Ching. 1300 years ago, Master I Ching risked his life on a lone journey to further study Buddhism.
1000多年来，那些商船如果要经过我们的这个海上的丝绸之路，这是其中一个很重要的港口。
对，因为从孟加拉湾，他们先到切查，才可以进入马六甲海峡，这是马六甲海峡的入口。
The Kingdom of Kedah Tour connects the Malacca Strait with the Bay of Bengal. This natural haven was once a part of the Kingdom of Srivijaya.
那么这个地方呢，已经给马来西亚政府呢，命名为旧切查的这个港口。
就是《易经》在那书里面，它公元672年到过切查，就是这个地点。
就是这个地点。
When I Ching came here, he recorded scenes of people trading iron ore for various commodities.
From 3rd century AD until 8th century AD, 500 years they're working here. So every words, what they know about Kedah Tua, the old Kedah, means iron. For example, Kataha. For example, Kataha means the bowl of the iron.
所以这个《易经》有讲过，2个手指的铁可以放5粒到10粒的椰子哦。
啊，是。这个就是对，这个就是价钱了，它的价钱就是这样子了。这个就是易经法师见证的独木舟。那么这个很特别，这个独木舟呢下面是平的，所以呢它可以在这个河面漂浮，所以货物一放在这个独木舟上面呢，就用网全部给它包起来，绑好了之后呢，就往上流。
By cross-referencing the ancient archaeological sites of iron-making and the ancient canoe with the written record of Master I Ching, Datago finds that, aside from the well-known Strait of Malacca, there was another important yet long-forgotten trade route, one that connected the land with the ocean. Chinese commodities were unloaded at Patani on the east side of the peninsula, carried through the forests and across rivers, arrived at Kedah on the west coast, and were then shipped over the Indian Ocean to be delivered to the Middle East, Africa, and Europe, and vice versa. And the first man who ever wrote about this important trade route was Master I Ching. As Jai's boat is sailing through the Gulf of Aden, supplies are cut off. They're without fresh water and food, and they're facing an open sea infested with pirates. After the intensity of the pirate incident, Jai Moore becomes more cautious. He initiates contact with a Chinese Navy convoy which is on patrol in the Gulf of Aden. Both sides agree to meet at the designated spot. Officers on board the convoy vessels hold a meeting to come up with a better solution to Jai Moore's predicament.
它的困难就是断粮、断水。这个他如果继续做沿岸航行，跟我们汇合不了，他解决不了断粮断水的问题。
来调整我们的汇合。出领海我们就可以给他补助，他只要不出领海，我们就没法给他补助。
他就随时以这个汇合点是一个大的趋势，但不是说绝对在这里。如果是他在这里了，那你就让他往这儿插，对不对？
航向 航向它能保持两流动的，但是它的航迹向是被浪，
对，
涌浪给推过去了。
帆船距离10链，正航距离3.5链。
左旋146，方向2侧推进，距离我上船2海里处。
By the time Jai Moore's boat and Fleet 152 arrive at the rendezvous area, the wind is so strong that they cannot safely get close. Instead, they can only sail parallel at a distance. After waiting for the wind to die down a little, the fleet sends skiffs to deliver supplies. With the protection of the Chinese Navy, 7 days later, Jai Moore successfully passes through the Gulf of Aden and completes an epic voyage that a myriad of seafarers have dreamed of, yet never fulfilled. As Sri Lanka is situated at a point that makes it a communication hub for East and West, it's known as the crossroads of the East. It was also the far end of the sea route for China during the Western Han Dynasty. The temple of the sacred tooth relic is famous for enshrining a relic believed to be a tooth of the Buddha. Following in the footsteps of Master I Ching, Goh Hin San visits the 92-year-old abbot of the temple. The temple's abbot. In the year 673, Master I Ching arrived at the kingdom of Tamralipti in East India. After a year of studying Sanskrit and Pali, he headed to the middle of India to pay homage at various pilgrimage sites. 2 years later, he became an apprentice at Nalanda Temple, where he remained for 10 years. In the year of 691 in Palembang, Master I Ching wrote 2 of his important texts, account of Buddhism sent from the South Seas and Buddhist monks' pilgrimage of the Tang Dynasty. He became a pioneer in the recording of the history of Southeast Asia and witness of the international communications.
Well, back to China. Look, this is still, still a bit the same here. No? This is a bit...
something like that.
Yes.
Post, you see it?
Yeah. So this is our Monica. And this is news. Mr. Ho. He was... Mr. Ho.
Mr. Ho.
This is a journalist, right? Who is this?
I don't know. I don't remember. It's maybe some other visitors.
As time passes, their yearning for the renewal of old friendships and remembering old times grows deeper. Niels returns to the places he became familiar with 35 years ago and embraces the friends he made in his youth.
Oh,
Allô.何先生你好，哇，阿斯啊，哎呀，你好啊，我们在香港还聚了很多。你好，你好，你好。
Although circumstances change with the passage of time, these old photographs are guiding Niels and his old Chinese friends as they recollect those shared days of enthusiasm for a common goal before La Dame de Canton was launched.
哪一个是我？看不看得出来？走，这里。
After so 35 years, we're back with all our friends. We spend 1 year together, making one of the most beautiful projects in the world that many people want to do, and everyone say, we, you, everyone is very lucky.
After 35 years, the dockyard where La Dame de Canton was built has been replaced by one capable of building truly gigantic vessels. Wang Zhongfu and Mr. Wen lead Niels down memory lane.
And then there was a crane, crane boat. There was a barge over there. So, Mr. Wang, remember when we put the boats in the water? Was there? And then slowly, very slowly, slide on the boat. Yeah. Wait. No.
那个是海珠江了，是吧？不是，这个喜欢他只要盖过去，盖过去才是。那个风就比较好感觉。
Vincent was saying the boat was very good and very fast, and you can see just below.
This is 14 knots.
14 度. Ça fait gaffe.
Meanwhile, after 4 months of sailing and having travelled a distance of more than 10,000 nautical miles, Jaimor arrives at Syracuse in Sicily. For hundreds of years, people have been seeking out routes leading to other lands. The Maritime Silk Road thus appears today as a great legacy of civilization. But the passion for a new approach never stops. Trade in commodities, exchange of techniques, interchange between cultures, the changes of the times and the beautiful curves marking out routes between cities and harbours all map out the cultural and geographical structure of the world in which we live today. And they still represent the same yearning for communication. From China all the way to the south and the west, numerous ships still laden with goods sleep at the bottom of the ocean. Among them, there might well be vessels that carried porcelain from Wuchang and Guangzhou. At the South Sea No.1 archaeological site, Liang Ji-yong, a 7th-generation descendant of Liang Da-yong, the founder of Wuchang, is gradually putting together the pieces of his own family's past glories. He's seeking evidence of a fading Eastern aesthetic and value system, guided by export porcelain.
Đấy, chịu cảm cái cổ thái quan niệm chính cái trong hình式啊，这种感觉了，定定很多的，龙这个。用电烧的，它太气完美、干净，农药的不可抑制性，这个是很强的。
我们这个技艺不是1天2天能学得好，手要勤，脚要快，也要灵，心要专。
素绣最重要的是什么？学的耐心吗？
对，因为我刚开始学复绣的时候，才12岁，到现在我都80、90，我还是喜欢这个。
这个是伊斯兰国家金银器的造型，拿过来我们把它作为陶车。我们当时潮州游出了这些青花瓷的，主要就是销往东南亚。
他关于这个生意后，你知道吗？知道かしら。是それは3年で入ってきたんですね。
これはジャンとも言います。未章とも言いますけども、そのいろんな中国から朝鮮半島を渡って日本へ来たんだろうと言われていますが、そしておそらくこの匂いはおそらく地元の匂いにどっか似ているところがあるはずです。
これ若いね。
这个佛可以保证2000年。做人呢一定要规矩，工艺呢一定要规则，所以呢你们还要一个思想准备。